for Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. I'd ask everyone to please rise for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Secretary, would you call the roll, please?
Yes. Mr. Ferrucci.
Here.
Mr. Grinsley.
Here.
Mr. Sylvie is away. Mr. Stevenson.
Here.
Mr. Lannon. We do have three. We do have a quorum.
And as petitioner, I've explained to the petitioner that because we have a quorum, the motion this evening will have to be passed unanimously to pass. I'll have the petitioner confirm that on the record, but the petitioner would still like to go forward this evening. Okay. First order of business is approval of our previous minutes from June 28th. Do you have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from previous meeting.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes approved. First order of public business is the Brooks Park height variance at 9857 Backstretch Row in Fishers, 46040, case VA 23-23. It's a consideration of a development standards variance from the Southeast Fishers Plan Development Ordinance number 100305E as amended to increase the maximum permitted height from 35 feet to 40 feet for 23 proposed single-family homes of the Brooks Park subdivision. The petitioner is Amanda Deerdorf of Fisher Homes of Indiana. Please approach petitioner and go ahead with your petition.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Amanda Deerdorf. I'm the land acquisition manager at Fisher Homes of Indiana. Our office is located at 6602 75th Street, Suite 400, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46250. In the last few months, we have been working with the developer owner of Brooks Park, Mr. Will McLaughlin, formerly known as Max Landing Development LLC. Remainder of the lots in Brooks Park is outlined here on the monitor in red. There are 23 home sites. I think that is identified in the original PUD as one. Currently, there are 3 homes that have sold in this area, what I would call individual small builders in the town. Here's an aerial view of those homes and the houses where they currently sit. When we were reviewing the PUD, table that makes a setup with the architecture. Essentially what we did was we handed them the PUD, section B1 of the lots that we were engaged with here. And we compared that with our Grand Estates and our Masterpiece collection, which we plan on building on the backs of these home sites. It occurred to us that per the architectural audit, that our Grand Estates homes exceed the 35 feet building height maximum per the City of Fishers UDO. And also that building height is also, oh, I'm sorry. Press the button.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Oh.
Thank you for the recording. Thank you.
Okay, sure, no problem. Should I start over? Are you okay? Okay. So at any rate, when we did this audit, it flagged us that our Grand Estates collections and 2 of our plans in the Masterpiece collection, some of the elevations and the height exceeded this 35 feet. I have taken a snippet and copy and pasted it here in our presentation. This is from your city's UDO and how the city of Fishers essentially measures height. And it would be at the average grade. Obviously then, the height is then to the top of the roof line, and there's different scenarios. But this is probably the most, it's very clear. What we did was we took one of our plans And this is, our Allerton, for example, in the Grand Estates, to really demonstrate, we wanted to kind of pull this out and demonstrate to the BZA committee how we essentially count our height. So this kind of third line here, that's what we call the first floor. So if the house was essentially kind of floating in a cloud at top of the foundation, we would start here. The first floor height is 10 feet approximately. Then there's about a foot plus or minus, for the floor joist of the second floor. And then you've got another 10 feet. So all in all, and I don't think I have a cursor or like a pointer to show you, but the house from the floor to the top of the ceiling is about 22 feet high. The difference then becomes the roof. So from the top of the second floor to the top of the roof line, in this example, our total height is actually under 35 feet. So you say, Amanda, why are we asking for this variance? Well, it really depends on then where you calculate based on Fisher's UDO where the grade is set. The measurements or the height that we're asking for tonight is actually calculated at 8 inches below foundation. Again, just to kind of give that buffer area from what we're calling that first floor, like we're standing on the floor, from that line down, it would be 8, call it 8 inches, and then another foot for that floor joist system. So it's a little bit nuanced in how we're actually calculating this, but nonetheless, when we were kind of going through the PUD with a fine-tooth comb, we found this discrepancy. We brought it to staff. So we have a great working relationship with staff. They're wonderful, and just wanted their advice how we should proceed. I will note that the plans that we are being asked to present to you all tonight, we currently build in the woods at Thorpe Creek and Fishers. We haven't changed these plans. We haven't changed the roof line. We haven't changed anything. I think from a lot of different emails and conversations that we've had with Megan and Gabrielle, potentially there's been just a miss, an oversight, and also some history of how the city has also measured maximum height. It used to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, Megan and Gabrielle, but kind of from grade to the middle of that roof line, kind of where the 812, the mean or the median of the roof line, well, we would far be in that kind of that maximum. We wouldn't have any issues. But now that the city, with the updated UDO, calls and how they calculate to the actual top of the roof line, which kind of makes sense too, we do exceed that now. So this is an example, our Jameson, the European Romantic. This would be the extreme of the height variance request. This one is just over 39 inches. Again, that includes what would be below foundation or below potentially grade. But nonetheless, we wanted to just be very transparent with what we're asking. So really most of the plans are around that 35 or just over, 36, 37 feet, with the Jameson being really the outlier. That's 39 plus. 39 feet and some inches. So what I wanted to do is just, again, kind of walk through the plans and the elevations where we're asking for this variance. And per conversations and working with staff, again, we decided to just ask for a 40-foot variance. We don't want to go up to 40 if it's only a 36-foot home, if that makes sense. It's just so that it makes the management time for both staff and getting permits issued, et cetera. We certainly can meet that 40 feet. We're well below that on most plans. So the Jameson French Nouveau, again, this lineup elevations exactly the same as what we're building at the woods at Thorpe Creek. Coastal Acadian, the Jameson, European Romantic. For the Crestview, the American Heritage, European Romantic Crestview, Allerton, European Romantic, the Wheatland, French Nouveau, American Heritage, Coastal Acadian, stop me if I'm going too quick. If you have any questions also. European Romantic, the Wheatland. The Nottoway, American Heritage. European Romantic again. Inglenook, Coastal Acadian. Inglenook, Bucks County Manor. Inglenook, American Heritage. Inglenook, French Nouveau. Pearson. This is the start of our masterpiece collection. Typically with the masterpiece collection, we build with a 612 roof pitch. The other nuance with Brooks Park is it requires an 812 roof pitch. So when we increase that roof pitch, we're just over 35 feet with some of these plans. The Pearson American Classic, the Pearson Coastal Cottage, Pearson English Elegance, Pearson Modern Farmhouse, and then also the Paxton English Elegance, American Classic, Coastal Classic for the Paxton, and the French Manor. Thank you for your consideration. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. At this time, I'd open it up to staff. Gabrielle?
Hello. Thank you, Amanda. All right. So, as you know, the petitioner is asking for a variance for height in one part of the Brooks Park subdivision. So here you can see from the 2022 aerial that it's in the southeast corner of Brooks Park, these 23 lots that she previously mentioned, and roughly, generally in the location of Backstretch Row and Winning Ticket Court. So this area is zoned, and you can see it in light blue, is zone PUD-M, and it's roughly 11 acres. In that acreage calculation, I did not include the 3 lots already sold by the other builders. So with those 3 lots, it would be about 12 acres. And so right now, before you today is the consideration for a development standards variance from Exhibit H of Ordinance Number 100305E to increase the maximum permitted height of primary structures from 35 feet to 40 feet. And another thing to note is that in this area, all the homes are primarily 2-story single family. All right, and then so this is the general location of the property. This is just to remind you kind of that a zoomed out version of the map, just like Amanda showed you. And so right here are, just to go back to an example of each of those proposed elevations, Masterpiece and Grand Estates. And so the Masterpiece collection, this is an example of the Paxton, and then on the right is an example of the Grand Estates Jameson. And then this is, as I said, this is just to kind of show you an example of the other homes in the subject area. So these are 2 of the homes that were built by the custom home builder. And then there's just one more. And then, so these are some of the homes in a completely separate subdivision to the east, but it just shows that the surrounding homes are primarily all 2-story. So, and then these are the public comments. So there was one comment in support from Kelly Divig, 10044 Copper Saddle, So, and her, so her address is up at the star at the very top right corner of the aerial. And so her comments include beautiful addition to the neighborhood. They're filling in vacant lots that have been vacant for like close to 10 years. And then for the remonstration, there were 2. So the stars that are the closest to the blue shaded area are the addresses of the remonstrators, Richard Hoffman, Levi Funches, and then their comments include the proposed elevations exceed the ordinance maximums. The adjacent homes that they measured were roughly 30 feet. And then the current allowance of 35 feet maintains a height consistency, and the additional 5 feet would be an eyesore and obscure the view of the surrounding trees. And then staff's recommendation, we have no recommendation to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Should the board approve this petition, staff recommends it is done with the condition that the variance is recorded on the property with the county.
Thank you. Thank you. Members of the board, do we have any questions for petitioner or staff?
I do. I have a question for petitioner.
Yes.
Looking at your list of home types that we have in our overview, looks like there's about 8 different types.
Correct.
When you were going through your list of photographs, there was more than 8 types. I guess my real question is how many of the Jamisons out of these 23 lots would you be putting in here?
It's a great question. So we let the consumer demand drive that. We offer 6 Grand Estate plans, which with each of those plans, there are an average 3 to 4 elevations. So it would be a mix of 6 times 318 or so. So we really let the consumers drive that. However, there is a stipulation from the developer that he would want no more than 2 of each elevation.
That was going to be my next question.
Yes, yes. And again, for the audit, again, the Jameson, the reason that plan goes so tall is it's a really deep plan. Then when you take an 8-12 roof pitch on it, that's what really increases the roof pitch on that. You know, the Allerton, the Wheatland, Nottoway, those are all in the 35 to 36 feet range.
Right, that's why I was
I
more
hear ya.
concerned on the Jameson
Yeah,
than the
yeah.
other.
That's a great question.
Do-
So with that being said, it's really a matter of what consumers choose. Obviously, a Jameson represents one of our more expensive plans, so we'll just kind of let the consumers decide that.
Do you have any plans that are over 40 feet?
We do not.
Do not, okay.
No,
So
we do not.
No matter what, no one can purchase a plan that would take you above 40.
That's correct. That's correct. And we're below 40. The tallest on the Jameson is 39, and we would be happy to concede exact, you know, if we need to come down to 39 or what have you. It was just more so, again, how you shoot. Sometimes grade, and there's just a difference of maybe the grade's lower on that plan, and then you've got another inches, if you will, that are out essentially on the foundation line.
Yeah, you may have already answered this question regarding the Jameson. I guess my concern would be that hopefully you won't have 3 or 4 Jamesons right next to each other.
That's right.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Great question. We do have an anti-monotony stipulation Fisher Homes does for our Grand Estate collection. Essentially, we wouldn't be able to do a Jameson same plan on either side or across the street, so we would not have that scenario where we would have 3 lined up. We could have a Jameson at the second home on either side, and same elevation, 3 on the third home, just for anti-monotony purposes.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
again, you said that you weren't going to have more than 2 of any
That's
style, so the
correct.
max number of Jamesons anyway would be 2.
let me clarify. It
Oh.
would be a Jameson French Nouveau, for example. So the
Okay,
elevation.
different elevations of your
Yes.
same one.
Did you want me to pull those elevations up again to see them? I mean,
No,
they look
it's okay.
differently.
I think
Okay.
I understand.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing. If anyone is here from the public to speak as to this petition, please approach the podium. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Members of the board, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve VA 2323 on the conditions that the variance is recorded with the county.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Secretary?
Mr. Grinslade,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrucci.
Yes, motion passes. Thank you. Do we have any new business this evening? No new business. Staff communication? No staff communication. Seeing that, take a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye. Goes to that.